Hey guys, so I have here the Fundamentals of Piano Theory, and I really like this series because I think it's a good, well-rounded, get to know kind of all sides of how music works book. Even if you don't really play the piano and you're thinking about going into a greater sense of how music operates, which is nice. So, um, this is going to be a video on all of Unit 1, which is your note values for quarter note, half note, dotted half note, whole note, eighth notes, dotted quarter notes, and that's it. So a lot of it is just drawing and penmanship. And I always say have a piece of manuscript available just in case you need to use it, and always make sure that you're writing in pencil. If you are having a problem with the texture with the pencil or something like that, and it just is like super annoying for you, and you have to write in pen, just make sure it's erasable pen, because I can guarantee you're going to make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time. Everybody makes mistakes, even if it's like just accidentally writing a line note on a space note or just, anything. So I searched and scoured the house for an erasable pen. So I have to go to the grocery store and buy some, and I cannot stand writing in pencil. So I'm going to write in pen today, and only today, and that's it. So note values for quarter notes. It's saying that some quarter notes can go with up stems and the other side of quarter notes can go with down stems. So it's saying just draw the rest of these with up stems, just like this one right here. So I'm just going to continue, and make sure your up stems aren't really short like this. They're going all the way up. And if they're up, they go on the right-hand side. If they're down, they go on the left-hand side. And it says draw 4 quarter notes with up stems. The only difference between this and this is that now you have to draw your note head as well. I kind of draw mine more like a smushed oval than theirs. It's all kind of personal preference. The only thing that I just kind of find appalling when people are drawing quarter notes is when they draw them like the really big balls. I'm just like, I can't stand that. So now we have half notes. Quarter notes were worth 1 beat. These guys are worth 1 beat. And these guys are worth 2 beats. So 1 half note is equal to 2 quarter notes. So that's 2 equals 1 plus 1, if you want to think about it a little bit more mathematically. And a half note is hollow on the inside. So we're just going to draw the outside of our note head and put a stem up. Same thing, stem going up on the right-hand side, stem going down on the left-hand side. And we'll talk more about when and where to use an up stem and when and where to use a down stem and what's the difference. So a dotted half note looks like a half note, only difference is that dot right there. The dot has to be on the right hand side, not above or below the note head. So 3 beats is how much a dotted half note is worth, equals 1 plus 1 plus 1, or 3 equals 2 plus 1. So same thing as a half note, but now we got to put a dot. Down stem on the left. And the only way to just get better at drawing these is to just keep practicing. Now a whole note looks like a half note, except now there is no stem. And I was just always the worst at drawing whole notes. Just so bad. These guys are worth 4 beats, equals 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Or it could equal 3 plus 1. Or it can equal a half note plus a half note, 2 plus 2. So it's a couple different ways it could pan out. So write the names of these notes. It's a quarter note. And I'm writing note after it because there's also something else that starts with quarter too. So this is a whole note, a half note, a dotted half note, and a quarter note. So it says a quarter note plus a quarter note. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is going to equal 3. So what rhythm is worth 3 beats? That's going to be our dotted half note. So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 again. That's still going to be a dotted half note. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. And that's a whole note. Okay, eighth notes. So we can have eighth notes written several different ways. We can have them written individually, paired in groups of 2, and in groups of 4. So written individually, we have them written with a flag, like this. So this is what they look like with their up stem. And this is a point where I would say, wow, Ashley, I wrote these really ugly. I am going to erase these and try these again. Probably because I'm writing on an ottoman in my living room. So, not the best place to be drawing music notes. And should I be writing in pen? No. But let's just continue anyway. So, I have some more pretty ugly eighth notes that I would erase and draw again. Make sure you're writing in pencil, guys. These are each worth a half note. So this is a half and this is a half. If I grouped these two together, it would equal 1 quarter note. Same thing with these guys. Even though their stems are written down, when you add them together, they still equal 1 quarter note. Just because these are written differently doesn't make these any different. They're still worth a half a beat each. They just said, hey, wouldn't it just look cooler if we just put them as a beam across, and it would kind of make the music look a little neater, and it would make more visual sense to say, hey, this equals 1 beat. So a half plus a half equals 1 beat. So we have them drawn with beams across, and they want you to draw the beams too. Beam, 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 boom, 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 beam, beam, boom, beam, beam, boom. Beam, beam, beam. Not only can I have a beam for 2 eighth notes, but I can have a beam for 4 eighth notes. So this was 1 beat, and this is 1 beat, and then they're going to be worth 2 beats. So 1 eighth note is worth half a beat, 2 in a pair is worth 1 beat, and 4 under a beam is going to be worth 2 beats. Bing, bing, boom, boom. There we go. There we go. Now, yes, this is still worth the same amount as these guys, but we're going to just draw it like that just because that's what they want us to do. It just depends on the music and the composer of why they chose to write it these ways and what makes more visual sense or what makes more rhythmical sense of like maybe how it's laid out in the measure. Okay. A dotted quarter note. We got a quarter note, looks like a quarter note. Now we got a dot on it, just like the dotted quarter note here. Dotted quarter note, that's got to go on the right hand side, and it's worth 1 beat and a half, so 1.5 beats, or 1.5, however you want to visualize it. It's worth 3 eighth notes put together, or a quarter note and an eighth note. You can also write this as 3 flagged eighth notes, if you like. So it says write the names of these notes. So this is a half note. This is a pair. It's a pair. It's not an individual eighth notes. It's a pair of eighth notes. Or you could write 2 eighth notes. Pair of I almost drew the rhythm. Eighth notes. This is a dotted. I'm sorry, my handwriting is so sloppy. Dotted quarter note. Remember, I'm writing notes after these because you can have rests, which is something different. So this could have been dotted quarter rest, but it's not. It's a dotted quarter note. We also have a quarter rest, and this isn't a quarter rest, it's a quarter note, so I'm going to specify by writing note after it. Same thing with whole note. And dotted half a note. Okay, answer these questions by drawing the correct note. So, remember, this is a half, 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 half. So 4 halves put together, well, that would equal 1, and that would equal 1. So 1 plus 1 equals 2, and that's a half note. I hope you followed that. It's kind of fast. So 2 plus 1 equals 3, and that's a dotted half note. So 1 plus a half, so 1 1/2 beats, that's a dotted quarter note. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 plus 1. Oops. Pencil, guys. Use a pencil. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. That's a dotted half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole note. And a half plus a half equals a quarter note. Okay, that's the end of section 1. Pretty straightforward. Just practice your penmanship.